71 million people across America could soon see their Social Security income reduced by around $580 every month. Here's what you need to understand immediately and the steps you should start taking now. 71 million Americans are on track to lose nearly $580 each month from their Social Security payments, not because they committed a mistake, not because the government suddenly became broke overnight, not due to fraud, corruption, poor management, or an accidental paperwork issue. This is happening because of a federal law that already exists, has already been approved, and is already active today, while nobody in Washington appears willing to stop it. By the time you finish this detailed breakdown, you'll understand the exact section of federal law that activates these reductions automatically, without a vote, without hearings in Congress, and without any warning notice arriving in your mailbox. But before we go further, you need to understand what is truly happening. Most Americans completely misunderstand this situation. They assume this is a problem for the distant future. They believe Congress will rush in at the final moment to solve it. They think there's still plenty of time remaining. There isn't. So let's look at Carol, a realistic example of what may soon happen to millions of people. Meet Carol. Carol is 67 years old and spent 31 years working as a registered nurse in Dayton, Ohio. She worked overnight shifts, extra shifts, holidays, weekends, and all the difficult hours required to keep hospitals functioning and patients alive. She retired in 2023 after faithfully contributing to Social Security for nearly 4 decades. During her career, Carol paid more than $180,000 into the Social Security system. She was never wealthy. She wasn't a top earner. She was simply a hardworking nurse earning an honest living. Today, Carol receives $2,071 every month from Social Security. That payment represents her complete retirement income. She has no pension, no rental properties, and no large investment account. Social Security is everything she depends on. And in 2032, only 6 years from now, Carol's benefit will not be debated in Congress. It won't be reviewed in committee. There will be no hearing and no vote. Instead, federal law will automatically reduce her payment. Nobody will mail her a letter clearly explaining the reason. Her updated monthly benefit will become approximately $1,490. That means $580 disappearing every month, nearly $6,160 lost every year. If Carol lives until age 85, which her doctors believe is likely, she could lose more than $110,000 in total benefits over time. That is money she contributed into the system during 31 years as a nurse. Gone. Not because somebody scammed her, not because she forgot paperwork, not because she made a bad decision. This happens because of a law that has remained on the books for decades, while Congress decided fixing retirement security wasn't worth the political risk. Carol's story is quickly becoming the future reality for 71 million Americans just like her. Let's go over exactly what we're covering today and why this matters directly to you. First, we'll explain the exact legal mechanism inside federal law that makes these cuts fully automatic. So you understand this is not speculation or internet panic. It is written directly into federal statute. Second, we'll examine why 2032 has become the new official depletion date and what that timeline means if you are currently 60, 65, or 70 years old. Third, we'll explain why Congress has been aware of this issue for 43 years and still failed to stop it. Fourth, we'll discuss 3 specific financial actions you can start taking immediately to reduce the impact on your own retirement. Fifth, we'll cover one recent law change that is actually positive news and show you how to determine whether you are already benefiting from it. Almost nobody is discussing that final section, but it could place thousands of extra dollars into your pocket right now. Let's begin. The automatic cut exists because of a rule written directly into Title II of the Social Security Act. This is the same legislation that originally established Social Security back in 1935. That law also created the rule controlling what happens when the trust fund no longer has enough reserves. The rule itself is extremely simple. Social Security is not legally allowed to borrow money. The program can only distribute whatever amount payroll taxes are currently bringing in. At the moment, the Social Security Trust Fund still contains reserves. That reserve money accumulated during earlier decades when more workers were paying into the system than retirees were withdrawing from it. However, those reserves are shrinking every year because more Americans are collecting benefits than contributing payroll taxes. Demographics have changed dramatically. Baby boomers are retiring in huge numbers. Birth rates have declined. The ratio between workers and retirees has collapsed. In 1950, there were around 16 workers paying into Social Security for every one retiree receiving benefits. Today, that ratio has fallen to roughly 2.8 workers for every beneficiary. By 2035, projections suggest it may decline to about 2.3 workers per retiree. The math no longer works. Once the reserve fund reaches zero, the law activates automatically. There is no vote, no emergency order from the president, and no emergency congressional session. The Social Security Administration simply begins paying only the amount supported by incoming payroll taxes each month. Currently, payroll taxes cover about 77% of promised benefits. That means once the trust fund is depleted, payments could immediately fall by approximately 23% the very day the reserves run out. Here's another detail very few people understand. That initial 23% reduction may only be the beginning. The Congressional Budget Office projects that the gap between incoming revenue and promised benefits will continue widening after 2032. By 2033, the shortfall could reach roughly 28%. By 2035, projections suggest it may climb even higher. That means Carol's $2,071 monthly check could fall to around $1,291. Roughly $580 per month disappears. No warning notice, no appeals process, no reimbursement, no grandfather protections. The reduction happens automatically under existing law, and unless Congress changes the law before 2032, there is no emergency stop button. Now let's discuss why 2032 has become the official date and what that means for you personally. The Congressional Budget Office, which is the nonpartisan agency responsible for evaluating legislation in Washington, updated its projections in February 2026. In those projections, the Social Security Trust Fund depletion date moved forward from 2033 to 2032. That is the newest official estimate. It did not come from a political advocacy organization or a think tank. It came directly from the CBO. That leaves about 6 years. Think about what that means depending on your current age. If you are around 60 years old today, the trust fund runs dry when you are approximately 66, which is exactly when many people plan to begin claiming Social Security. If you are already 65 years old, the automatic reduction arrives in roughly 6 years. If you are retired and already collecting benefits, your monthly payment changes in 6 years without a warning letter, phone call, or transition period. 1 month you receive your full check. The next month you receive only around 72% of it. This is not some apocalyptic prediction. This is not exaggerated fear tactics. These are official Congressional Budget Office projections published in February 2026, showing only 6 years remaining before depletion. What makes the situation even more serious is that the CBO has repeatedly moved the date closer instead of farther away. 10 years ago, depletion was expected around 2034. 5 years ago, estimates moved it to 2033. Now projections say 2032. Every update brings the crisis closer. Congress has known about this problem for 43 years and still failed to solve it. This is the part that should genuinely frustrate you. Lawmakers have been aware of this issue since 1983. That was the last time Washington passed major Social Security reform legislation. At that time, they gradually increased the full retirement age from 65 to 67. They also raised payroll taxes and adjusted parts of the benefits formula. Then they stopped making meaningful changes. For 43 straight years, every Social Security trustee's report has delivered essentially the same warning. The current system is financially unsustainable. The trust fund will eventually be exhausted. Benefits will automatically be reduced unless Congress acts. Please address the issue. 43 years of warnings, 43 years of official reports, 43 years of publicly available data. Yet Congress still failed to act. Not because lawmakers fail to understand the situation, not because they lack possible solutions. The real reason is that Social Security is considered the third rail of American politics. Politicians fear touching it because they believe it could destroy their careers. Here's why. Republicans often support ideas such as raising the retirement age further, reducing benefits for wealthier retirees, or slowing cost of living increases. Democrats generally support raising or removing the payroll tax cap for higher earners, which currently stops around $168,600 in income. Both political parties have proposals. Both sides have introduced bills. Both have economists supporting their approaches. Yet neither side wants to give the other a political victory. So year after year, nothing happens while the clock continues ticking. Now we are only 6 years away from automatic reductions, and still little is moving forward. Several bills currently remain stuck in Congress. The Social Security Expansion Act would raise benefits and extend solvency by increasing payroll taxes on income above $250,000. The Medicare and Social Security Fair Share Act would apply payroll taxes to investment income earned by wealthy Americans. The You Earned It, You Keep It Act would remove taxes on Social Security benefits. Every one of those bills has stalled, not because lawmakers voted them down, but because many never even reached a vote. They are sitting in committees gathering dust while time continues running out. Politicians designed this problem to become somebody else's responsibility, a future Congress, a future president, a future generation of voters. But now it has become your problem. Unless you take action to protect yourself, you may be the person paying the price. Let's talk about what losing $580 per month actually means in real life. Carol currently receives about $2,071 each month from Social Security. After a projected automatic reduction of roughly 28% in 2033, her payment falls to around $1,191. That is $580 disappearing every single month. Think about what $580 actually covers for many retirees: a month of groceries, prescription medications that Medicare does not fully cover, utility bills during extremely hot summers or freezing winters, car insurance, fuel, and transportation expenses, a small emergency savings cushion. The difference between financial stability and constant anxiety. Now multiply that loss across 12 months. That equals about $6,960 less every year. If Carol lives until age 85, which is entirely realistic based on modern life expectancy, she could lose more than $110,000 in total benefits. Remember something important. Carol paid into this system for 31 years. She contributed more than $180,000 overall. This is not charity. This is not welfare. This is money she earned by working throughout her adult life and contributing payroll taxes into the system. Yet those benefits are about to be reduced automatically by law with no vote and virtually no recourse. The reductions will not affect everyone equally. This is something many people fail to realize. Individuals who claimed benefits early at age 62 may suffer the most because their base benefit was already reduced by around 30% compared to full retirement age benefits. Applying another 28% cut on top of an already reduced payment could be devastating. The cuts also hit people with no additional income especially hard because they lack a financial cushion to absorb the loss. If Social Security represents your only source of income, losing $580 per month could become financially catastrophic. The reductions also hurt people who never planned for this scenario because they may be completely blindsided when it happens. If your retirement strategy depends entirely on the full benefit estimate listed on your Social Security statement, you are preparing for a number that may no longer exist 6 years from now. That is the bad news. Now, here is the genuinely positive part. There are actions you can begin taking immediately. Let's discuss 3 specific strategies you can use right now to help protect yourself. Strategy number 1. Calculate the benefits of delaying your claim and seriously consider waiting longer before collecting Social Security. If you have not claimed benefits yet, this may be the most powerful financial tool available to you. Every year you delay claiming benefits after age 62 increases your benefit by approximately 8% permanently. That is not an 8% increase for a single year. It is an 8% increase for life. If you claim benefits at 62, you receive roughly 70% of your full retirement age benefit. If you wait until 67, which is full retirement age for most Americans today, you receive 100%. If you wait until age 70, your benefit rises to approximately 124% of the full amount. Here's why that matters when a 28% reduction may be approaching. Suppose your full retirement age benefit equals $2,000 per month. Claiming at 62 would give you around $1,400 monthly. After a 28% reduction, that amount falls to approximately $1,008 per month. But if you wait until age 70, your benefit becomes around $2,180 monthly. After the same 28% reduction, you still receive about $1,185 every month. Same individual, same career history, same lifetime contributions. Yet delaying benefits leaves you with roughly $777 more each month, even after the cut. Across 20 years, that difference could equal approximately $186,000 in additional lifetime benefits. Of course, not everyone can afford to wait. If you need the income at 62, that is the reality. But if you are capable of working a few extra years or have alternative income sources carrying you to age 67 or 70, the financial math strongly favors waiting, especially when you know future cuts may arrive. Strategy number 2, build a retirement savings cushion specifically intended to replace the missing $580. Treat this projected shortfall as a known future expense because that is exactly what it is. If you are currently 60 years old, you have around 6 years before the reductions arrive. That gives you approximately 72 months to build savings specifically designed to replace that lost income. Here are 3 possible ways to approach it. Option 1, a Roth IRA. If you still work and qualify, consider contributing to a Roth IRA in 2026. Individuals over age 50 can contribute up to $8,000 annually, including catch-up contributions. Over 6 years, that equals around $48,000 contributed. With moderate investment growth, that balance could potentially become $55,000 to $60,000 by 2032. If you withdraw around $580 monthly tax-free, those savings could last approximately 18 years. Option 2, a health savings account, also known as an HSA. If you have a high-deductible health plan, maximize your HSA contributions. People over 55 can contribute roughly $5,300 annually, including catch-up contributions. Across 6 years, that equals approximately $31,800 invested. The major advantage is that HSA funds can be withdrawn tax-free for medical expenses, which is exactly where many retirees may feel much of that missing $580. Option 3, a deferred income annuity. You could place a lump sum into an annuity specifically designed to begin payouts in 2032. These products can be structured to pay roughly $580 monthly for life. Depending on your age and the specific annuity product, that could require an upfront investment between $80,000 and $120,000. However, if you already have that money sitting in a low-yield savings account, this option may guarantee replacement income matching the benefits you could lose. The key idea is simple. Do not merely hope Congress eventually solves the problem. Plan as though the reduction is guaranteed, because legally it already is. Strategy number 3. Review your Social Security statement and calculate benefits using only 72% of the estimate. Stop planning around fantasy numbers. Visit the official Social Security website and sign into your My Social Security account. If you do not already have an account, create one. It usually takes around 10 minutes. Once logged in, review your projected benefits at 3 different ages: 62, 67, and 70. Write those figures down carefully. Then multiply each number by 0.72, representing a possible 28% reduction. That is your realistic retirement planning scenario. Not the larger estimate shown on the statement, but the reduced amount. Because unless Congress changes the law, that reduced figure may be what you actually receive. Lawmakers have already had 43 years to address this issue and still failed to act. Build your retirement budget around the 72% figure. Plan your spending, housing costs, healthcare expenses, and lifestyle around that lower amount. If Congress eventually fixes the problem before 2032, fantastic. You effectively receive a 28% raise. But if lawmakers fail to act, you are prepared. You avoid panic. You avoid scrambling at the last moment. You protect yourself. Now let's discuss one genuinely positive development that could already apply to you. There is some legitimate good news here. On January 5th, 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act officially became law. This legislation eliminated 2 provisions that quietly harmed millions of government employees and their spouses for decades: the Windfall Elimination Provision, commonly called WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, known as GPO. If you or your spouse worked in a job that did not contribute to Social Security taxes, such as teaching in certain states, serving as a police officer, firefighter, federal employee, or state or local government worker with a separate pension system, these provisions may previously have reduced or completely eliminated your Social Security benefits. The Social Security Fairness Act repealed both provisions entirely. Here is the most important detail. The repeal applies retroactively beginning January 2024. That means affected individuals may be entitled to back payments. The Social Security Administration is currently processing these adjustments automatically. In most cases, you do not need to file a new application or repeatedly call the agency unless the adjustment still has not appeared. Here's what you should do. First, sign into your My Social Security account through the official website. Second, review your newest benefit amount carefully. Third, if you worked in government employment and your benefits were previously reduced because of WEP or GPO, verify whether your monthly payment has increased. If the adjustment has not appeared, contact Social Security directly at 1-800-772-1213 and specifically ask about your Social Security Fairness Act adjustment. This could potentially mean hundreds of additional dollars each month, along with a lump sum retroactive payment covering all of 2024. Do not assume the change was already applied. Verify it yourself. Now let's go over an action plan for this week. Monday, sign into the Social Security website and download your benefit statement. Write down projected benefits for ages 62, 67, and 70. Multiply each estimate by 0.72. Those are your realistic planning numbers. Tuesday, if you or your spouse worked in government employment, check whether the Fairness Act adjustment appears in your latest statement. If not, contact Social Security directly. Wednesday, if you are still employed and have not yet claimed benefits, calculate the delayed claiming difference. Compare your projected benefit at age 70 versus age 62, then apply the possible 28% reduction to both numbers and compare the results. Thursday, Open a spreadsheet or notebook and calculate how much money you need to save between now and 2032 to generate roughly $580 per month in replacement income. Then determine which option makes the most sense for your situation: Roth IRA, HSA, or annuity. Friday, schedule a meeting with a financial advisor, preferably someone specializing in retirement income planning. Show them the reduced 72% projections and ask for help building a retirement strategy around those numbers. This weekend, have a serious conversation with your spouse or family members. Make sure everyone understands what may be coming and what steps you are taking to prepare. Do not delay this conversation. 6 years may sound like plenty of time, but it really is not, especially if you are trying to build savings or restructure your retirement plans. Every month you postpone action is another month of lost compounding growth. Let's finish with one final thought. The reduction may be automatic, but your response does not have to be. 71 million Americans could soon lose around $580 every month from their Social Security benefits. The law already exists. The mechanism is already established. The countdown has already started. Congress has known about this issue for more than 4 decades and still failed to solve it. But you are not helpless. You can delay claiming benefits to maximize your base payment before reductions arrive. You can create a financial cushion specifically intended to replace the missing $580 each month. You can calculate the numbers today and build your retirement plan around 72% of projected benefits instead of assuming 100% will remain available. You can verify whether the Social Security Fairness Act already increased your benefits, and you can stop waiting for politicians to rescue you and begin protecting yourself instead. Because here's the truth. The reduction may happen automatically. Your response is entirely within your control, and you still have 6 years.